Hello, good morning, everyone. My name is Gabor Vice, and I would like to start with our session, which aims to discuss all the people in the call. Could you please mute yourself by not talking? Okay, thank you. So I would like to start with the session EDIH to support the recovery of the EU economy. And I think that within this session, we will discuss a very pressing question that in the last year we could all see the impact of the pandemic, and we could see this on the economic level, on the macroeconomic level, in terms of GDP figures and other indexes. But we could also see as DIHs on the microeconomic level what meant for the individual companies and for people. And during this session, we will discuss how DIHs can contribute to support the recovery of the EU economy. And within the session, myself, Gabor, representing Innomind DIH and the DIH for CPS project, will introduce the session and moderate it, and then we will have four distinguished speakers. First, Ulrich Tombansen from Fraunhofer Institute from the MABEL project will talk us how manufacturing and DIHs work in practice. Afterwards, Jorge Cabajo and Vanessa Nascimento will talk to us from the DIH Algarve about their situation and about how digital solutions can enhance safe tourism while being in a pandemic situation. And lastly, Artur Hordajo from the Ministry of Economy and Digital Transition from Portugal will explain how the economic recovery and is boosted by the Portuguese government, and how digitization will support the transition of the economy, and how this will support the recovery of the country. As an introduction about myself, I'm located in Hungary, in Budapest. We as Innomind Digital Innovation Hub have operations in Budapest and in a city called Pécs, which is located in southern part of Hungary. We are focused on digital innovation and smart manufacturing, and we to support SMEs in Hungary and also in the Central Eastern European region in their quest for growth. We do work with more than 200 SMEs in multiple European regions. And we started as a DIH 4 or 5 years ago with developing the concept. And we became awarded by the Smart Manufacturing Program in 2018 and participated in a mentoring program from the European Commission, which supported the Central Eastern European countries to catch up with the DIH services. And since that moment, we are working in multiple projects. I just name here 3 specific projects. The DIH for CPS, where we act as a DIH and promote cyber-physical systems, especially among SMEs. And we do see within that project how much digital technologies could boost the operation of the manufacturing SMEs with the aspect that the digital SMEs could, in the case of a crisis, in the case of a sudden external impact, change their operation, adjust their manufacturing schedule, or adjust their operation to turn to home office as much as possible. And we see that what was said also yesterday and today within the conference, that the digital technologies boost the resilience of the SMEs. We do see and do have the proofs also in real life companies in operations. And also we work on the DigitBrain and the Cloudy Factoring project, where we act as a digital innovation hub, connect SMEs with technology. Within the session, we will talk about the experience of DIHs during the COVID-19 period. And as a DIH ourselves, we could see two different levels of actions since February, March 2019. What we have seen was a short-term impact, especially last year, which caused an immediate shock towards most of the companies, and it required very immediate actions to reorganize operations, to send people to home office, to go digital, set up new financial plans, and so on. We have seen that as the SMEs are highly heterogeneous, their needs and the outcomes are also very heterogeneous. One of the lessons was that in Hungary, in that period, the very good internet infrastructure helped a lot to the companies, that even the first period of the virus from March till May last year, when everyone went digital, all the schools and all the companies, the Hungarian internet network and the broadband coverage could support a lot the companies and also the public institutions like schools to operate. But after that period, I think we can talk also about the medium and long-term impact. And I think that within those aspects, we need to be very clear that all the companies need to adapt to a new reality. And we do see that obviously digital companies are much more resilient with scenario building, with modeling. They can they can do better forecasting and can better estimate their future positions. And we do see that Industry 4.0 and digitization is a great asset for companies. But what we also see that this is very, very different because the SMEs are different. So what digital technologies exactly mean for a specific SME needs to be decided on the SME level, and all the actions must be taken at the SME level. And if there are specific SME level solutions, then we do see that some SMEs can generate lots of opportunities out of this current crisis. And I believe and I hope that this type of opportunities will foster the growth of the EU economy and will help the recovery of the European economy. And with this, I would like to go further and give the floor to Ulrich to talk for his experience from the ML project. Ulrich, I stopped sharing and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Gabor. And thanks for the invitation to talk today. So I want to give you a quick insight into what ML is currently doing. We are one of the digital innovation hubs that started off to provide services to SMEs. And on that, we really span from first ideas that an SME has to the fine land to really go industrial, so to go into production. With that, we really span the entire spectrum from doing the first sketches down to looking for investments. And that, again, as Gabo already explained, is one of the key things that we can do to support SMEs in Europe to, let's say, carry on with what they need to do in order to earn some. So when I talk about additive manufacturing, then we talk about functional parts. In Amable, we don't look at things that are printed for the desktop, but we look really for things that are being used in industry or used by communities, used by society. In this case, okay, that's not a very widespread use, but this nicely shows this end of a fork of a motorbike requires a light design or a light product that is stiff enough and reliable. So it brings together all these things that additive manufacturing provides. We do offer a bunch of services to SMEs. So it always depends on the specific situation that an SME is in. If they, for example, want to enter the services on the stage where they are still in a concept mode, so thinking about ideas, or if they are already doing a construction, or if they are going to print, they can always pick either a technical service or a business support service, or they can just get on with training their own employees in order to increase the knowledge on additive manufacturing. And in fact, the design for additive manufacturing is one of the mostly used services. And that also puts a little bit the focus into the situation. If you want to do additive manufacturing, you do need to know how, but you don't have to have a machine. So it's an opportunity for the SMEs that are out there. It brings together, at least that's what I think, the settings of having a digital process to have some Industry 4.0 components in it, if you transfer your data, if you handle your products. And it also gives a great opportunity for remote collaboration, which I will quickly explain later on, one of the examples that I have. But the main example that I want to show to you is a development that's intended to produce shock-absorbing structures for helmets of different uses, if it is on a bike or if it is in industry for protection of humans, to have these individual fitted to the form of the head and to protect it in the areas that it should protect. So the first step of this experiment was to provide a structure, to construct structures. So to make a more or less automatic design based on requirements from the outside and to implement a prototype. Now, the second step of that one was to really do testing, to walk to certification routes in order to make that industrially usable. And that was one of the turning points for this team, because the company that wanted to produce these helmets, they decided to go away and start printing masks. So this end customer, this first end customer, just changed its business plan to do something that was beneficial to them at that time. And now the partner, the supplier partner, who did this design was left alone with, let's say, having developed the concept for creating these structures, but not having a user. And that was where the Digital Innovation Hub structure that we have in Amable came very handy, because we just supported them in creating a single software module that they could market. So to open up a new road for them to be successful on their road, while leaving the user doing what he currently needed to do. And that's something that we see very often. The response to the market in SMEs is changing things partially on a weekly basis. And that is where the SMEs, where the innovation hubs need to be very, very adaptive. So I've just resumed this. The one thing is SMEs need a very fast feedback. So they have a question, they need help at that time. They need flexible support mechanisms, at least that's what we understand today. So they need support to prevent running into the wrong direction. I think this dead ends here. It's perhaps a little bit extreme, but just to give them an indication of what they should do. Early tryouts for sure. Dynamic market analysis, that's the observation that SMEs have to be supported at some times. and this agile development path. And that is something that I would really, really like to emphasize very much. No matter how fast the Innovation Hub is, no matter how fast the SME develops, to have this in an agile mode and to change plans and to get support on changing plans. That is what Innovation Hubs should prepare. And we have tutors that go with the SMEs through all the offerings, and that it really ensures to keep them on track and to focus on their objectives. That's my resume of what happened in the last time that we saw and what the SMEs requested us to do. So with that,
Thank you, Uri.
Gabo.
Thank you, Uri. Very interesting examples, and I can fully agree with your agile proposal. I think it's very important. Before now, I give the floor to Vanessa and Jorge. Just one comment to the audience. On the right side of the screen, you can see the Q&A button. So feel free to ask questions, and at the end of the presentations, we will try to address those questions with the speakers. And now I do give the floor to Vanessa, Jorge, to present the example of Alga.
Hi, Gabor. Good morning, everyone. We would like to thank the invitation to be here in the name of the Digital Innovation Hub of the Algarve in the Algarve Tech Hub. So thank you very much. George, are you sharing? Yeah.
Yes, I think it's sharing. Can you hear me?
Perfectly.
Okay, there you go.
So today we're going to talk about the impact that COVID-19 had in our region and what we are trying to achieve with technology to overcome it. So in order to understand this, the first question is what is happening in the Algarve? So in 2019, just for you to have a notion, the GDP of the tourism sector in Portugal was 9%, and half of it is produced by Algarve. So you can imagine how tragic was the pandemic here when our main sector of income was completely devastated by the pandemic. So we started thinking, what could technology do for our region? Could you change slides, please, George? And we are having already organized the Algarve Tech Hub, along with the Algarve University, Algarve Evolution, which is where I'm vice president of, and the Algarve System and Technology Partnership Association. So we created the Digital Innovation Hub with the concept of Algarve Smart Destination. Basically, what we try to achieve, along with other private and public associations and companies, is how could we use technology and especially artificial intelligence to boost the local business, to bring more value to the region, and to bring business into the region. Could you change slide?
Sure.
So we came up with a concept of lifestyle tech hub. So what we're trying to do, besides business digitalization of the already existing businesses, local business, is giving specific programs to the companies that want to move here, and the ones that are already existing here, have specific packages for it, with the digital nomads, supporting the digital nomads, and selling what we have the best. So we're exploring the concept to work where it's good to live. We have an airport, we have a fantastic beach. We even won in 2020 the world's leading best beach award in tourism. So why not come here and work? what can we do for the companies that want to move here and for the already existing ones. We already have a lot of expertise in the sector. So how can we put all the information and that we already produce and communicate and do an output that could actually enhance the local economy? And one of the concepts that we came up last year was the CAST hackathon. And now I'm going to give the stage to Jorge.
Thank you, Vanessa, and thank you, Gabor, for the introduction. This CAST hackathon meant a lot for the Algarve Digital Innovation Hub. This CAST hackathon was focusing purely on the sustainable tourism challenge and how to help this sector thrive. And being that a priority to the Algarve Tech Hub and to the Algarve Digital Innovation Hub, we needed to participate and we needed to present our case in a strong manner. And we did come up with some ideas and suggestions. We participated with more than just our team. We also participated with some other teams. This was organized by the Algarve Digital Innovation Hub, and we came up with a simple solution. We came up with a simple solution that brought together everything in one accessible, data-driven, geolocated information hub for tourists on the safest areas, safest routes, tourist activities and businesses within our region. The beauty of it is that this solution is scalable, borderless, and adaptable to every other European destination, aiming to recover and provide trust and safety feel to all tourists. I think that's the most important part of it. The fact that we are looking at a solution that is scalable and can be spread out across Europe and other European regions that rely heavily on tourism, such as Algarve. This solution, as we said, was awarded the prize at the CAST hackathon this July. And of course, this is something that we cherish heavily. And as you can see on the screen, there are a multitude of companies and startups already exploring the hospitality and travel tech. We consider we are already a thriving ecosystem clustering around travel tech and hospitality, and there are many digital products being developed as we speak. Some others already being successfully implemented and used worldwide. And this is what we wished to present and to bring to this event. The Algarve is a smart destination, a digital innovation hub, and here are our contacts. Feel free to reach out. And I'm sure we'll be able to clarify further in the questions, Gabor.
Thank you very much to both of you. And now just one more point, that our session was originally planned until 1:45, but we've got the permission from the organizers to extend it until 1. So we will be able to dedicate time also to the questions. And now I would like to give the floor to Artur from the Ministry of Portugal to address the transition and the digital transformation in the country. Artur? Yes. There might be a technical issue. Artur was here with us, but now he's back.
I don't know if you can hear me now. Could you confirm?
Now it's very good. Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. First, allow me to greet the participants, all the speakers in this panel, and
a special thank you to the Economy from Luxembourg and DG Connect for organizing such an event and inviting us to present some of the challenges that we've been addressing. Well, as per my presentation, I here bring today Sorry, Gabor. Can you still hear me?
Now I can hear you, but previously I was not able to hear you. I was able to hear your first welcoming sentences, and afterwards your voice disappeared.
Okay, so if you allow me, let me just give another go.
Now you disappeared again for me.
And see how work the country's digital transition. To give you a zoom in on the country's businesses digital transformation and how the recovery and resilience facility, especially on the component for companies, is articulated with a macro strategy. And last but not least, I think it would be interesting also to share a little bit of the approach and experience so far that we've been having while developing the Digital Innovation Hubs program. Well, to start, it's also important to mention that considering the context we are living in, where the challenges and opportunities on the industrial revolution will combine with the economic and social effects from the COVID-19 pandemic. I kindly ask
Artur, your voice disappeared for me.
Okay. Well, with this in mind, the first line of action you can see in this slide are the four main areas of Portugal action plan for the digital transition, which, by the way, was approved last March. And in a nutshell, we have the pillar for people that focus on the qualification of the Portuguese population with an inclusive investment that encourages access to education and lifelong learning, and which favors the creation of conditions for generalized...
I believe Artur is disconnected from the network now.
I was able to hear him previously.
Yes.
I could hear Artur now.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
Carry on.
Okay, now I do see that the line from Artur is not stable, and then I suggest to move on to the questions and answers part. Ulrich, you presented a very good example of working with SMEs, and you also addressed the agile approach. Could you tell us from the memorable experience what was the most valuable offering to SMEs, and also what do you see from the EDIH activities that you carried out? Which activity has the highest impact on the SMEs?
Yes, Gabor. From my perspective, what we were really happy to do was to first sit down with them and really discuss their case. You might phrase that as a design exercise or a conceptual exercise, but basically it is, if you start to explain what your idea is, and if you consider how to produce it and how to use it, then all these questions that go along that discussion really help people to get more on with their idea and their concept. So this first phase that we do in Amable, to sit down with an SME and to discuss their case and to analyze it, helps through all these questions that we pose. Like, what are you going to do with it? Which loads does it have? Will it be heated? What's the environment that it will operate in? How many of them do you think you're going to produce? So it's more or less common sense questions, but basically it's a basic startup assessment which helps the SMEs to get a very good starting point. And that's the contribution from our side. That's what also the SMEs give us as a feedback. They say, okay, it was a pain in the beginning to discuss with you, and especially also with your experts, because there were questions that we couldn't answer. But basically, it helped us to get our idea straight. And I mean, Gabor, some of the experiments just stopped or they're turned into another direction. But it is about screening ideas to make sure that the energy, the resources, and the money that you invest into such an idea is really worth it, that you have a return.
If I understand well, and if I combine this with our own experience, I do see that the systematic approach and the methodology, which really made a difference also in your case, because that's what we see at many SMEs, that they do say that they are very unique, and that's true, but still that doesn't mean that the international best practices, methodologies doesn't work for their specific case. And if there is an external party who is able to do this kind of coaching and make sure that the SMEs goes through the steps one by one, then that can add lots of value.
And something that I would like to add to that is, we also see a clear benefit in having this large team that works in that EDIH, because sometimes it's really the case that there's an SME in a country like far away from the key countries, you might call, in a country where there's no expertise in the local environment. We see that SMEs in most cases do not perfectly speak English, but still the knowledge often sits in a different country in Europe. So that's another support that the EDIH and that we as an Amable team provide. We provide the knowledge, but the knowledge is communicated through the tutor. So we always have this tutor in place that speaks the language of the SME, but is able to connect to a competence that is somewhere else in Europe. And that is, for me, that might even be one of the challenges to the EDIHs. So if the European EDIH is acting on a more local scope, let's say, they shouldn't forget that this international connection is supporting the case on its own. Not directly the SME, but the case of the SME.
I fully agree. This is in line with our experience that many cases when we talk to an SME and we say, okay, there is a research result, and then they immediately start saying, okay, but we do not have time and energy to analyze all the research results. Yeah. But then what they are telling us, but if you can bring us that specific piece of research, what would solve our specific issue, then that's fine. And that's what we started to call kind of research on demand service to really bring to the SME from any part of the world or from any part of Europe what they need to fix the problem.
Yeah, we are brokering that in Amable. So if there's such a request, we have regular meetings with all the tutors And then there's a brokering session, so they ask questions that they couldn't answer directly, and they get support from someone else.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and if we talk about international cooperation and support, how do you see this in in the beautiful Algarve from the Tech Hub? Do you have international cooperation? How do you see this in the framework of the new EDIH programs?
Of course, as a region that is supported by tourism, we are always welcoming support from other regions and to give our expertise as well. And I have to congratulate Ulrich on the agile approach, because this is the way we're working as well. All our data structure and the team that is working on our data structure, and as well the servers and the security of the project that we were implementing, are working agile. So congratulations on that. And hopefully the companies that move here and all the fulfillment of the intelligent region project that we are doing could be done in agile way as well. So right now, the kind of partnerships and collaborations that we work looking for is how can we help other regions that have similar conditions like we do, and how can they share regions that are more developed and have expertise in other areas can help us, because it's Europe. It's all about sharing the knowledge. It's all about building models that can support the economy of Europe as a nation, as one. So, of course, we are open to collaborate and to to share what we already have here and build new concepts around it. So feel free to contact us, and we can get together and give more specs on the projects that we're currently running here, and as well get a view on what's going on in the other parts of Europe. I guess that's it.
If I may just compliment on the Vanessa's response, and I think it was very comprehensive. But our aim is to involve and to develop the ecosystem, not only internally, to involve the community and small and medium companies in the Algarve, but also to network with other European hubs that share this common vision, that share this common goal, and I think that's the main objective from our hub. I see, Gabor, that we already have some questions that from the audience that I would like to address specifically regarding the app. I don't know if you want us to do that or
please go ahead. Please go ahead.
Okay. So there is this Francesco Berrettini to Vanessa and George. What is the roadmap to have to develop and implement the app? First and foremost, thank Francesco Berrettini for his pioneering work at the Algarve Tech Hub and implementing this digital innovation hub in the Algarve. He was one of the driving forces to it. So thank you very much for attending and for asking the question. After winning the prize, we went to the drawing board and we tried to redefine and write why we are building this app. What are we hoping to accomplish? Why will the app help users, and what we want in the end of the day? And the questions were very clear, and that helped out speed up the process. And we are in the verge of creating the proof of concept. We already have started preparing the minimum viable product, and should be available soon. Of course, we would like to have some further support, and we are working also to get some financing flowing in order to make this happen more fluidly. And addressing Michael Papadopoulos' question, could you give some examples of the successful travel tech outcomes? From the list that we've shared, there are already three of those products being used worldwide, notably on the management of the golf courses with Concept Tech. Their solution is it's worldwide. It's now being used in 4 continents. There is hosts, and there are some very interesting products being developed using AI as their core capabilities. And they will be launching very soon. But in total, they're already in a small hub such as the Algarve, already 20 products out there. So thank you for the question, and feel free also to reach out in order to give you further details.
Thank you, Jorge. About the European collaboration of EDIHs and DIHs, yesterday we could hear from Maurice Butter from TNO the concept of corridors, of European corridors, and he explained that European DIHs will have the opportunity to foster this collaboration via not only giving contacts, but also giving kind of testing relationship, ensuring knowledge transfer, so a much more deeper relationship, because the previous studies showed that the contacts only will not be able to fix the issues of the SMEs. And about the European collaboration, Ulrich, how do you see this within the MABL? How do you manage the collaboration between the partners? You mentioned that you organize regular internal meetings with the mentors. Is it the only way? Do you plan to upscale this, or do you see this as a best practice?
The one thing is that discussing is always better than reading. So we saw quite a few requests, let's say, flowing along because they were sent by email to, let's say, everyone in the consortium. And that really did not help. The tutors conference that we have on a bi-weekly basis, so every 14 days we have a phone conference with all the tutors. This tutor conference is good, but it doesn't allow to communicate each and everything about these requests. So often it's just flagging an issue and putting it to someone who just says, okay, I could discuss that with you. What we're currently doing or developing is to create a board in our web portal, in our internal web portal, where we can manage that. So it's like in software development, you create issues and you track them, you have the contributions, and at some time you close them. And we are currently developing this process of, let's say, calling for a solution request, then handling it, and afterwards to resume it and to file it so that it goes into the knowledge base of MABL.
Okay, thank you. So you do have a process for the solution circle.
Yes.
It's great, and I think also to foster the collaboration of the DIHs internationally, we can see within the Q&A session already quite some notes from Athens, from the DIH digital health and biosciences and so on. So I do see that also this conference will give lots of opportunity to network. And since we are reaching now 1 o'clock, I would like to conclude our session by saying thanks to the organizers, thanks to DG Connect for facilitating this session, especially to Helena Rodriguez, thanks to Lux Innovation, thanks to our panelists for their great contribution, and then let's keep in touch through the platform. Thank you so much for your attention.
Thank you, Gabor.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you for
Bye.
attending.